Location: a new flat, 15th floor of a high-rise apartment building. Author: Nishi. Pseudonym: office worker. Dear Selfie, the incident I am about to tell you is the most terrifying experience of my life. It happened last year when I moved into a new flat due to a job transfer. The flat was right on the 15th floor. The abnormality of the first night. After finishing the decoration of the flat, I was very happy on the first night. It was almost midnight, and I was lying in bed scrolling through social media. Suddenly, the screen of my mobile phone, which was placed on the floor, lit up by itself. I thought perhaps a notification had arrived, but as soon as I picked up the phone, I realized there was no message. Instead, the phone had switched to camera mode. Only my bedroom was visible on the screen. I switched the phone off and put it back down. 5 minutes later, the same thing happened. This time, I was a little annoyed. I was about to pick up the phone to close the camera mode when a picture was clicked by itself. Instead of deleting the picture, I went to the gallery to check it. The room looked normal in the photo, except for a dark black shadow-like figure behind my bed, which was not clear even in the camera's flash. I thought it might just be my own shadow. The balcony's call. The same thing kept happening for the next few nights. Every night after 12 o'clock, the phone would automatically switch to camera mode and take a picture by itself. In every picture, that dark shadow would be captured in some corner of the room. One night, when the picture was clicked, I quickly picked up the phone to look. This time, the shadow was not in the corner of the room, but standing right next to me. My heart seemed to stop. In fear, I threw the phone away. But something more terrifying happened the next day. It was around 1 a.m. I was curled up in fear. Suddenly, I heard someone calling me in a very low whisper. The voice did not match a man or a woman. It was a rough, old sound. The call was coming from the balcony. Nishi, come, let's take a picture. My flat was on the 15th floor. There was no way anyone could climb onto the balcony. I sat up. My body was getting cold with fear. I got up, bolted the main door properly, and looked towards the balcony. The selfie ghost. What I saw through the glass door of the balcony made me scream. Standing there was a vague human-like figure. Its face was blurry, but its hand was extended, just as a hand is extended when taking a selfie. And in its hand was my own phone. I clearly saw the screen of my phone lit up, and that vague shadow on the balcony was holding the phone. It took another selfie. Before I fainted, all I could hear was that rough voice saying, "Tonight was our last selfie." I left the flat the next morning. I later heard that a young man had committed suicide in that flat by jumping off the balcony a while ago. I still don't use that phone. However, sometimes when I check my old phone, I find a file of that last night's selfie saved without my knowledge. In that picture, I'm alone, and right behind me, staring towards the balcony glass, is that shadow. Selfie, I don't know why he took a selfie every night. Maybe he wanted his world after death to be captured for everyone. Before moving on to the next story, please subscribe to the channel. So let's begin the next incident. My name is Abid. I currently live in an old, ancient dormitory in Old Dhaka. This hostel is almost 100 years old. The most frightening and mysterious room in our hostel is room number 13, the beginning of the fear. When I first arrived at the hostel, I was given room number 5. But shortly after, my friend, Sajib, started living in room number 13. The room was naturally large, and on one side, there was an old wardrobe, which was always kept locked. The hostel staff said that the wardrobe hadn't been opened for almost 60 years. From the beginning, Sajib felt uneasy in the room. He often said that in the middle of the night, he felt as if someone had come and sat beside him. The room would suddenly turn cold, and sometimes a faint, slow sound of crying would emanate from the old wardrobe. At first, we all laughed it off, saying he was new and getting scared. The mystery of the wardrobe. One night, Sajib was sleeping when it was almost 2 a.m. He felt someone whispering near his head, "Release me, release me." Sajib was too scared to open his eyes, but he felt the voice was coming from inside that locked wardrobe. The next day, Sajib became severely ill, and even in his feverish delirium, he kept talking about the faint crying sound and the whispering. Frightened, a few of us friends informed the hostel superintendent about the incident. After much pleading, he reluctantly gave permission to break the lock of the wardrobe. The horrific discovery. When the lock was broken, everyone was astonished. There were no clothes or belongings inside the wardrobe. There were only stacks of old books, and underneath them, a torn diary and an old picture of a little girl. The diary was written about 70 years ago. It stated that a young man and his little sister once lived in this room. The young man's name was Ratan. His little sister's name was Meena. Meena was mentally unbalanced. One day, Ratan locked Meena inside the wardrobe of this room so she couldn't go outside. But shortly after, Ratan suddenly died of cholera. The hostel authorities thought someone might have come and taken Meena away. But the truth was, Meena slowly wasted away and died inside the locked wardrobe. She cried for release, but never got it. After reading the diary and seeing the picture, a silence fell upon us. We understood who Sajib had seen and whose crying he had heard. Meena was crying for her release. Since then, room number 13 has been permanently sealed. The wardrobe is no longer there. But even today, if you stand outside the closed door of that room on some nights, a long sigh can allegedly be heard, as if someone has been waiting for their release for 100 years. Russellby, whether you or your audience believe this incident or not is up to them. But I can swear that inside every brick of room number 13, an unspoken sorrow still lurks today.